Welcome inside another edition of Knicks Six. I'm Rebecca Haarlow alongside Bill Pidto. He's coming at you from home. I am coming at you from the Knicks training facility where the team is practicing and leaving for Houston and then Boston for a 2-game road trip. But it's a tough stretch for the team, right, Bill? They've lost 7 of 8 games. They have players in COVID protocol. But hey, you know what? The bright side is the young Knicks are stepping in, taking advantage of their time. So let's talk 6 different reasons why we're excited about these young Bucks. And Bill, I will flip it over to you.
All right, well, Rebecca, let's start with Quentin Grimes, who obviously is right now in health and safety protocols, but against the Bucks, when he had his opportunity to hit a Knicks record 7 threes and come up with 27 points. Now, we all have seen his defensive energy, and we know the first-round draft pick out of Houston is excellent on the defensive end. But if he can now couple that with consistent makes from downtown, man, that could be a huge dynamic going forward for this team.
Absolutely. And I am actually going to piggyback on that because I had a great conversation with Quentin Grimes coming after that game where he had 27 points. And one of the things that he told me was that it was huge for his development as a player because it was against the Milwaukee Bucks. So it wasn't like it was against any old team. It was against the reigning NBA champions. So he said for him, the growth and the development of being on the floor against some of the best players on the planet, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, for him was huge. And so as he grows as a player, I think that's pretty exciting too.
Grimes, fantastic. And how about Miles McBride, Rebecca, against the Warriors, got playing time. They got him in the second round, got the most playing time he's had in his young career, goes for 8 points. You talk about going up against elite competition. Warriors, one of the best teams in the league. McBride came through. And if, Rebecca, McBride and Grimes are thought to be pieces now, legitimate pieces, rotation pieces here in the near term, that gives the front office and Tom Thibodeau a whole lot of roster flexibility if they decide they want to change things up. So I think this comes at a really important time for the Knicks and the roster. If Grimes and McBride are showing to be rotation pieces, that changes potentially the whole dynamic of the team.
Absolutely. And one more point on McBride that I think is something that needs to be said about him as a player too, as he develops, is he has such a high basketball IQ. And so, yes, he's going to have to grow and he'll make mistakes and learn and develop. But at the same time, he's so smart that when you watch him play defensively, he's already in the right place at the right time. He understands the Knicks system. And that's impressive when you consider the fact that, you know, he spent time down in the G League and then he comes back up and down. But when he's with the G League, he dominates the G League.
He's been electric for sure.
He's electric. And he is showing the team, you have to find minutes for me. And he's using his smarts, his athletic ability to do it. And I think he's a really exciting player.
And, you know, we also have to bring up Jericho Sims. Now, he hasn't been in the rotation here lately, but when he's had the opportunity, he's another rookie that has been really impressive. He's really athletic. He gives the team the rim protection that Coach Thibodeau expects and demands. And when you talk about flexibility, remember, Mitchell Robinson's contract's up at the end of the season. Taj Gibson is getting older. Jericho Sims has shown to be, when given the chance, another potential rotation piece. He's been very effective when he's gotten the chance.
Absolutely. And you're mentioning Taj Gibson. I love the way that Gibson talks about Sims. I love the way that Derrick Rose talks about Sims. They love this guy because of his work ethic. And so I really think he's got a bright future with the Knicks. And, you know, there are a lot of players who've been great this week. Kevin Knox, another young player who's taking advantage of minutes, but also we've got to throw Immanuel Quickley into this mix as well. And one of the things that I think is fantastic about him is his development at the point guard position. When you take a look at his game, we saw last year that he had the ability to come in and impact the game, right? But this season, we're seeing that he has the ability to come in and control the game. And there's a big difference there when it becomes not just about him, but about the team. And I spoke to him about that recently. I asked him, when did he realize that he could make that jump between his game and the team game? And he said, he's gone through tons of film, you will not be surprised, of Chris Paul and Steph Curry. Those are the guys who he's watching to see how do they control basketball games. And that's how he's modeled his game. And we're really seeing him understand it's not about me being in the zone, it's getting the team in the zone. And that second unit has done that very effectively.
You know, it's also easy to forget, Rebecca, that RJ Barrett is 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know, he's a young guy still. And before he got sick or before he went into health and safety protocols, his last 3 games, 32 points, 19 points, and 19 points. So maybe he's rounding into form. Hopefully he'll be back soon and pick up right where he left off. But don't forget about RJ Barrett, and also don't forget about Obi Toppin when you talk about the young guys. Toppin had the best game of his career against Toronto before he went into health and safety protocols. We tend to not put those guys in the young group, but don't forget about Barrett and Toppin when we talk about Knicks for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the future is so bright. I think the Knicks are in a little bit of a slump right now. They'll admit that. They know that. They know they need to get back on track, but there's so many things to look forward to. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Knicks in 6. We will see you next time.